Greetings, programs, and welcome back to CK2 and episode 51. I can't believe it's been that many, but I suppose I have been doing this for a while now. Of course, those numbers are only going to go up. So, I might just start every episode from now on with, I can't believe it's been that many, but I'll try to restrain myself. So, the last episode, it could have gone better, but it could have gone worse. Now, I didn't just go willy-nilly into a war with England without checking troop numbers in the ledger first, but they did manage to pull an extra couple of thousand troops from somewhere, and that basically sank me. And it's entirely possible that it was vassal troops that it didn't show in the ledger, or else they hired some mercenaries. But either way, the extra troops they could muster meant that that war ended up just wasting time and money, and it could have gone much worse. What basically happened was that the Bishop of Durham died, and so the war was just a wash because the person whose claim I was pressing was no longer around. So the consequences are I lost some money. I now owe 350 gold to the Jewish moneylenders, which is not a big deal. It's a fixed amount, and that carries down. So you don't ever have to pay that back. It's just you can't then borrow that sum in future in a pinch. If you don't pay it back. So there's no rush to pay that back. It's not like EU4 where that accumulates interest over time. And the other negative consequence was that I lost 500 retinue troops. Or was it 1,000? No, I think it was 500 retinue troops. It was 2 retinue units of 250. So we'll actually just hit the auto balance. There we go. So it's an even spread of troops there now. So that's a bit unfortunate because I was already way over the retinue cap from Scotland, having previously been rather larger. So that's shrunk a bit, but we're still 7,000 with a cap of 5,000. So we can't replace them, basically. Now, I think one of the causes of the war going as it did is the fact that I can't actually raise that many troops at the moment, and that's because Queen Margaret has rather a low martial skill. Now, I'm already working towards the ambition to improve stewardship, but I think we should drop that and we should pick an ambition to improve martial, because more martial means more troops. Now, I'm using my councillor marshal or my martial councillor, that's awkward either way, I suppose, to train troops in my prime holding. So, that helps a bit, but having a high martial score helps even more. So, Margaret is not the best monarch to go attacking people with, at least not until we get a better score. So, what else? I noticed I had the possibility of upping some laws. Now, I don't think I'll do that right away, but I mean, Margaret's relatively young. She's only 34, and my vassals they all relatively like me. We have a rather minus modifier at the moment from having raised levies, minus 19. So that's going to go away. I'm also minus 10 from having won over my domain limit. I also noticed, just glancing around my realms, that Paris has turned Orthodox because, of course, Margaret was Orthodox and we then converted. But clearly at some point while she was Orthodox, a new Bishop of Paris, or a Metropolitan of Paris, was appointed, who was also Orthodox, and he has now managed to turn Paris itself Orthodox in that short period of time. Now that will flip back. I almost said flap back there. Well, actually, technically I did say flap back. Anyway, that'll flip back eventually, but it might be a bit awkward in the meantime. So, state of play. We just have to sit on our heels for a while, really, accumulate money, build up infrastructure, and also, just so I'm not completely bored in the meantime, I'm going to go on a pilgrimage. There we go, because I noticed that's an option that's available. We could also hold a feast at the moment, which would potentially make my vassals like me a bit more, but it can go the other way as well. So let's do that. Let's go on a pilgrimage, but also let's first check who the... Oh, no, wait. That's titles. This is... no, it would be in the more recent version of the game. This is the part where it trips me up every time. It's like, I know how to do this. Oh, wait, not in this version of the game. Yeah, okay. I can't remember... And I should remember this. You know, I've played this older version enough. But somehow a regent will be appointed, and it's just I'm not sure I can do it myself. Anyway, never mind. Yes, let's go on this. Pilgrimage. We'll fire up the pilgrimage events and see what happens. Now, this will cost me some cash as well, but I mean, income's never been a problem for Scotland. We've always done quite well in that regard. So, even though it will cost me a little bit, it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, yearly total, plus 164, which is pretty good. A big chunk of that is from city tax, as we can see. Yeah, look at that, 55 gold a year from the Grand Mayor of Dumfries. So if you get a vassal merchant republic and they like you, which this guy does, it's gravy. It's just pure gravy. So, anyway. Holy site in the west, or one of the ancient sites, Jerusalem or Rome. You know what? We'll go to Jerusalem. I don't think we've done that one in a while. So let's travel to the Holy Land, which is a bit of a trip, but the game doesn't really seem to calculate based on, you know, the fact that it would take months at least to get there. It just seems to fire off within a kind of a random time frame. Well, I say a random time frame. It's random within a set time frame for events like that. So, does it have... Oh, we haven't actually set off yet, I suppose. Oh, an independence faction. That's not good. Who wants independence? Earl of Foix. Okay, it's the French. The French Scots are agitating again. Right, so we're setting off on the journey. And it's my court chaplain who's been appointed as the... okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, of course, in the up-to-date version, the current version, you can choose who you want your regent to be. Although it's slightly buggy, I've noticed, with the regent title. I guess it's technically a council title, or it's a minor title, whatever you would classify it as. But yeah, it seems to just randomly reset itself quite a lot. It's the one I have to set very frequently because it just drops out all the time. It's very odd. Anyway, I don't know if that's just some unintentional bit of game behaviour or if it genuinely is a bug, but it's annoying all the same. Oh, robbers. Oh dear, lose 10 gold. Never mind. That wasn't too bad. Could have been worse. Also have to keep an eye on these factions. So once this dies down, the vassal levies raise too long. That'll be good. That'll help my opinion with people. But otherwise, there's not a lot I can do right now. Oh, we can elect a king, a successor of England, and Jason of Scotland too already has a vote. So we'll give him our vote, another vote as well. There is a star shining unusually bright in the clear sky. You see it every night and its position coincides more or less with the direction to the destination of your pilgrimage. So we can get a chance of zealous or cynical, and we'll just go with zealous. And we didn't get it, so never mind. Cynical, I think cynical's actually not a terrible one to have if you're aiming for certain things. But I'm going to say I'm agnostic either way when it comes to having either of those traits, which is a bit of a pun, but not really, but kind of, but not really. During the last couple of days, you've made company on the road with a holy knight on his way to the same destination. You have lively and interesting conversations, and you find that you have many things in common. Let's make a friend, sure. And this is a member of the Knights Hospitalier, okay. So we'll see what pops up next. And I'm kind of hoping, because there's a chance to have good events that come up that like improve your stats or give you positive traits. Sometimes they cost you a bit of gold or whatever, but Yeah, it can be quite nice. Anyway, Jerusalem. So we've arrived like 2 weeks later, or however long it's been. Has it even been that long? I don't know. Anyway, you've finally arrived at Jerusalem. Passing by the Mount of Olives, you enter through the city gate and are immediately overcome by a feeling of having made a truly epic journey in a very fast amount of time. Apparently we've got like hydrofoils or something. I don't know. It's well known. Scotland had hydrofoils in 1294, yes. The city is filled with people of all creeds and colours, the air heavy with smells of strange spices and foreign plants. You make your way through the throng of people, that word always almost trips me up, and animals, excited by the knowledge that you are now close to the Via Dolorosa and other holy places. You plan to also visit the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, but first of all, you need to find some place to stay. After all, you wouldn't want to be forced to sleep in a stable, would you? Oh, paradox! Oh, you. Right. Okay. I've also just noticed a thing. I'm just glancing at Bandicam. None of you can see my mouse cursor right now because I turned it off for recording something for Warships. So bear with me a second and I'll be right back. And we're back. And you can see the mouse cursor now, which is quite useful for CK2. Yeah, I don't have to turn that setting off very often, hence not remembering to turn it back on again afterwards, because it's usually just on all the time. Anyway, so, yeah, we're waiting for the next event to pop up. That's what we're doing. The stories of other pilgrims all spoke of how impressive this place is. Now that you can see it with your own eyes, you can only join in their praise. You're glad you came here to one of Christianity's holiest places. It would be nice. I don't think the game ever makes a distinction as to whether, like when you visit somewhere like Jerusalem, I don't think the game cares who holds it at that particular time. So there's no difference in the text as to whether it's held by a Western Christian ruler or a Catholic ruler or a... I made a bit of a goof in the last episode. I said Christian when I don't know, I goofed and it was something to do with calling Orthodox Christians not Christians or something. Anyway, and I meant Catholic instead of saying... Anyway, I can't even remember how I goofed exactly. I just remember that I goofed and somebody pointed out that I goofed, which is so unusual for me, right? Anyway, that's it. That was quite a boring pilgrimage. We got robbed, we lost 10 gold, and that's it. Okay then, I mean, you know, nothing especially bad happened otherwise, and having the pilgrim trait is useful. You get that plus 0.10 piety every month, which actually bumps me up to 2.8 a month, which is actually pretty decent. But yeah, I don't know, we had the chance of getting zealous or cynical, and that was it. That was basically it. So, what else can we do? Let's have a quick look at the laws. This is going to be one of those kind of, not quite interregnum episodes, but episodes where not all that much happens, and we're just kind of recovering after the previous episode, because England just rustled up troops out of nowhere. Oh, and there was disease as well, wasn't there? Yeah, that didn't help. There was an outbreak of what was it, consumption or tuberculosis or something. So that was steadily killing my troops as I was marching around as well. It's just one of those times. And it wasn't even... Because I've made some goofs in this series. I'm sure we all remember my attempt at the crown of... was it Poland or Denmark? I think it was Denmark. But Poland was involved somehow. And then just stupidly losing an army and losing the chance. You know, that was straight up facepalm worthy. But this time round, it was just more events conspiring against me. But as I've said in the past, you know, this is one of the reasons why I play CK2, is I like it when stuff like that happens. Because it kind of gives it that flavour of stuff happening outside your control. Like, not everything is always going to go your way, and if you're expecting everything to always go your way when you're playing a game like CK2 or EU4, then it would be a bit boring, really. But having the occasional reversal of fortune, I mean, we've had some fun instances, you know, losing the crown and then managing to get it back, for instance. That that series of wars and rebellions and whatever, that was actually really quite fun in the end. So there's stuff like that just it wouldn't be the same. So not a lot going on right now. That's steadily ticking down. That is just Paris and Foix, so we don't really have to worry too much. One thing I could do, which would avoid like Aquitaine / France is going to attack me again at some point, because I do hold still de jure land. Although they're having... What's going on there at the moment? The Duke of Burgundy's war for France. Well, if that's the Duke of Burgundy, I don't think he's got that much of a chance. Although he's got Berry on his side. And... or is that Orléans? No, that is Berry. Or... Beret. Is it beret? Is it like the hat? I don't know. Probably not. One thing I could do, if I stopped interrupting that thought, is I could basically grant these counties independence, and France will just gobble them up anyway. It avoids the war with France, but it means I don't get any benefit from having these people as my vassals. I don't get any income or troops. Now, troops is kind of a non-thing, because I obviously getting troops from here is going to be a pain in the bum, and it's not enough troops to really be worthwhile anyway. So it's strongly tempting. I mean, I think, what's my relations with +20? That makes it like this just kind of has an effect. The opinion of a king, and like if you're friends with somebody, that can make it even less likely. But you can't explicitly sign non-aggression pacts as you can with the current version, which is a nice feature. It really is. But the chances are very, very good. Even if I had plus 100 relations, the chances are very, very good he would just come after these provinces anyway, because it's de jure part of France and Aquitaine. So yeah, that, I mean, I don't think I'm going to do that now, but I'm going to keep that in mind as an option, is just to cut them loose. I think that's one of the things I was lamenting in a previous episode as well, is the fact I can't just sell these provinces to Aquitaine, which, you know, if I could profit from this somehow, cutting the counts loose as independent counts doesn't help me at all. In fact, I think it actually it can hurt your opinion with other vassals, or attract vassalage. No, grant independence. So he'll have plus 50. In this case, there's no negatives. Okay, sometimes you can end up with negatives, I think, if they're de jure part of your realm. But I guess, or at least I think so. I'm going by memory there. But in this case, apparently there aren't no negatives. So that's fine. That's a possibility. So if it comes to that, we can just cut them loose and let them fend for themselves. Paris would be a really nice one to hang on to, even if the where are we? The Barony of Meux and the Barony of Senlis are apparently, well, they're not apparently anything. They are not under my control, which is, you know, less tax and whatever for me. So, oh, hello. What's going on in England? English Norfolkian? I don't even know. Anyway, how is Norfolk? Oh, because they were okay. They were Castilian and they broke away from Castile, and now England's de jure pressing the claim to get them back, I guess. Right. Oh, it's a stable master event, and I get a plus 15. Oh, it's okay. It's a stable master event, but it's, you know, me being part of it and somebody else coming and settling it, rather than me settling the event between two other characters in the court. It can happen either way, which is quite nice. Right, 129 gold. That's ticking up rather nicely. It's taking an awfully long time to raise the or to fill the levies back up, though. It did hit us rather hard. Right, who's this? This is one of the Irish branch of the family, which is somewhat extensive. The McJedis are really quite extensive at this point, nearly 100 living members. We've got 1,432 prestige as a dynasty, which is quite nice. Why does it say held kingdoms times 16, or is that just the number of... Oh, okay, that's going to be the number of McJedis that have held a king level title. It's not that there are 16 McJedi kings out there right now, which would be quite impressive if you could spread your dynasty out that far, but then at that point you're in danger of becoming the Carlings. And there's this whole meme to do with Crusader Kings on, well, certainly the subreddits and possibly also in the forums, where the Carlings are regarded as somewhat verboten. It was actually rather a funny thing a little while ago now. It was probably a good couple of weeks, if not months ago. But somebody had managed to make a Carling Ottoman emperor, and they basically kind of had all of Europe, and it was like a just complete unholy outcome as far as the internet, as far as the CK2 fans online were concerned. I was just seeing the reactions to people's seeing people's reactions to it was quite amusing, at least if you're a bit of a nerd like me. Anyway, one child lacks a guardian is one of the very nice things about the current version of the game, is that they simplified the whole education thing. Or, well, not simplified, but they streamlined it down. And they made it make a bit more sense. Well, these are all people with relatively terrible... No, wait, I'm looking at marriage. Ooh, a tithy. Or a tithe. I can never remember. I think it's a tithy. I've almost certainly had that conversation with myself before. Yes, education. We weren't doing marriage, we were doing education. For young Iodana, I think, maybe. Oh, yes, she'll do. The Queen Mother. So extra cash. We can almost, in fact we can pay off the Jewish moneylenders. This has not exactly been a hugely long episode, and we're already in a position to pay off the Jewish moneylenders. Which we don't, I mean, I might sit on that. I might let that pile of gold get a bit bigger. Just so that we've got a bit of cushion in case any events pop up. It would also be nice to get some, so I can't really build any more in Castle Jedi. There's the Shiltron training ground, but we'll leave that. But there's other things elsewhere that I could upgrade. Apparently Mitford doesn't have anything, which is a bit, yeah, not even the basic castle walls, which would be good to have. Dagoba's also looking a bit underdeveloped, but that was held by a vassal for a while. There's actually another barony I'm set to inherit. I'm doing so well with my words today. The barony of Tetushi, which is, of course, vassals, where are we? The one that's all the way over on the banks of the Volga River that we still don't know how it managed to... Oh! Okay. Yeah, I obviously... When I raised vassal troops, I never... I've just been standing there patiently that whole time. Yeah, the Baron of Tetushi doesn't actually have any heirs, so I am personally set to inherit that. I honestly don't know. Like, this is the Golden Horde, and we're all the way over here. I honestly don't know why the Golden Horde haven't just said we'll have that back, because they could have pressed that de jure claim back on Tetushi at literally any time. But no, we've had that in the Scottish realm for quite a long time now. So, title. Somebody's trying to fabricate claims on Cumberland, so we can either disappear or try and disappear them. We can either try and bribe them, or we can just let it go. You know what? We'll try and make them disappear. Because if that's her, like, chancellor, if that's her chancellor with a diplomacy level of 2, she can't have a particularly good court. Anyway, so excellent. We successfully assassinated a bishop, which is, you know, always. That's just how you pass the time in Crusader Kings, as you assassinate bishops. Right, so that's all winding down, which is good. I'm kind of surprised the Baron of like that, because those troops have been just sat there for months and months and months and however long. I don't know. We must have accumulated a bit of negative whatever, but as it's only a baron, it doesn't matter. Barons can't really rebel, which is, that's one of those things where it is just purely 100% like a gameplay decision. If it was in any way historically accurate, I mean, not that it probably would be possible to make something completely historically accurate in this style of game for this period of history, but barons being able to rebel would be a thing that would be able to happen if it was a little bit more historically accurate. But in this case, no, it's only counts and above. I still think, and the game just won't let you, but I still think it would be kind of interesting if there was a way to play as a baron. But I don't think that's been possible for a very long time. But and that's one of those things where you can understand why they won't let you play as a baron, because if all the barons had their own courts in the way that counts and dukes and kings do, then the whole game would just, like, that would be so many more characters for the game to keep track of. It would just chug to a halt completely. Right, we've got somebody coming of age, so we'll try and set them up. He's also got a very bad martial score, so we'll try and pair him up with someone who's a bit better in that regard. House Dunbar. Minus 15% fertility is not the best. She's got a proper military education though. She's proper Brienne of Tarth. This member of the Dunbar clan. But I think maybe we will get somebody a bit different. Ah, she's not bad. Castilian. Courtier in the Knights of where? Calatrava, probably. We'll maybe go with her. Although she's got Craven, which doesn't really exactly match up with the rest of her traits, but she's, like, some of her stats are not great. But we'll go with her. Yeah, it is the Knights of Calatrava. Which apparently, well, they're saying that's a vassal of the HRE. Something I don't even know. Right. Oh, Seville's a separate entity. Interesting. Huh. I wonder when that happened. And Aragon as well. I probably should have noticed that actually, because Seville's got a county there. That had to have been something happening with inheritances. So, I did notice there's something going on in Scotland too. A revolt against the rules, so that's going to be... is that a tyranny war? I can't remember. Oh, and he's got the Waldensian uprising. And Ulster's having trouble as well. So it's all going a bit pear-shaped. Yeah, I was seriously hoping to unite the crowns by this point. I wonder if is it possible maybe... I don't know. We had... What did I try? I can't remember what I tried now. Was it primogeniture? Like, seniority succession might be a way to go to unite the crowns quicker, but it still requires some patience because you're relying on, at some point, say, King Jason or whatever being the oldest member of the family. By the time the family is this big, maybe going seniority wouldn't be any good. Right, someone's made a claim on Westmoreland. Not too fussed about that. Yeah, wow, just waste your gold. I don't care. Waste your gold. We'll be ready for you. I hope. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll get some of these improved martial events popping up soon. That'll be quite nice. But yeah, otherwise there's not much going on right now. I might just wrap up the episode here. I know it's been relatively short. But I've been a bit pressed for time for recording today because today's the day I'm going on the Warships podcast in a little while. So, although normally for this episode I would play and skip through chunks of the Wisdom video editing. I don't have the time for that today, unfortunately. So this has just been a bit of a linking episode. But, you know, we went on a pilgrimage, which was a bit boring as it turned out. I could bump up some... Nah, we'll save those tech points. So, yeah, I don't know, we're recovering. And I think next time we go to war, we'll have to choose our target rather more carefully because with Margaret on the throne... we're a bit too close in power. Where are we? To England for comfort. Like, we're really very close behind them at the moment, but they pulled extra troops out of somewhere, and I wouldn't trust them not to do that again. So either I go into it with a huge pile of cash and a lot of mercenaries up front, or else something else. I don't know. But either way, actually, what I'll do... I mean, that's a thought. I just have been accumulating cash during this episode. What I'll do is I'll set the Chancellor claiming York once again, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. Next time we'll go into it with just more troops, I think, even if we have to hire them. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, and if you have, you can hit the like button. You can leave any comments below. You can sub to my channel if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned for more.